The Lucasfilm latest Skeleton Crew is almost done. Not even a few more episodes left to go, only a finale. And now we can tell you the wait is almost over. But the ratings are not crashing over, and audiences are not rolling over to find out what's going to happen. Nobody seems to care. Today we'll tell you why we're still hoping, perhaps, for more of Skeleton Crew. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Pro Channel. It is a joy as ever to have you pull that lever and decide that you want to be a part of the Pro Channel. Welcome to another video of pure excellence. And folks, don't forget that if you like content like this, well, you might consider going over to the Patreon. It's www.patreon.com/WDW All right, folks, we will get going right now with our panel. We've got Lauren Connor. We know you love him. Nolan Thunder. We've got Kevin Apollo, Jonas J. Campbell, and, well, some other guy. Without further ado, Skeleton Crew, what do we think? One more episode. Let's go ahead and get started right now. We're doing a Skeleton Crew review. Here we go. And we start this way. All right, folks, we have watched the penultimate episode of Skeleton Crew, and it is something. It is something indeed. Lauren Connor, Nolan Thunder, Kevin Apollo, Jonas J. Campbell, they have watched it. I have watched it. And I think it is harder and harder to decide whether or not this is a kids show or a nostalgia play for the Goonies that is definitively an adult show, yet, well, not that kind of adult show. But it also, it's just a conundrum here. It's just a conundrum. And there are good parts. There are bad parts. I will we've never had Lauren give us the rundown. Lauren, would you like to do the rundown of what happens in the episode?
I got to think about it for a minute because it's been hours ago now.
Kevin could do it. Kevin, do you want to do it? You want to do the rundown?
Yeah, sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Kevin Apollo as your rundown narrator. Go ahead, Kevin.
All right. Depending upon where you left off, everybody arrives at Atten roughly around the same time. The kids get pulled into the bigger pirate ship by a tractor beam. I thought Hondo was supposed to cameo in this show at some point in time. I hope I didn't miss him. The pirates get angry at each other. A giant claw grabs the werewolf. Jude Law shoots the werewolf. They somehow get free of the tractor beam and start flying towards Atten. Somehow Jude Law gets into the ship. Urkel keeps screaming, "Captain, why did you let the ship leave?" There's a big storm. They magically land. Jude Law says, "Hey, I didn't get left behind. And I have a lightsaber." He chops off the robot's head. Then they land. For some reason, the parents open up the episode, even though they have had nothing to do with the plot for the last 5 episodes. I guess we get a tease of meeting the wizard. I mean the supervisor. The ship lands. There's a giant hole in the main lobby, which brings you to the vault. Jude Law has a euphoric moment. The parents finally get a craft to meet the kids. Everybody hugs. Then Jude Law walks out with a lightsaber. Does big arms pose, and then the episode ends. This really could have been wrapped up in 4 episodes.
You have been solidified as our eternal recap guy. I hope you understand what you've done to yourself. That was the greatest recap I have ever heard, bar none. Lauren, do you take any exception with what Kevin has said? Is there anything else that we need to recap?
No, I don't think so. I think that probably covered the episode pretty well. I think I'm maybe of a different opinion of you guys, though. I can tell that you're growing impatient with the show. I've actually kind of enjoyed this show. The only episode I didn't like was episode 4. I do have some quibbles with some of their get out of trouble free cards in this particular episode, but besides that, I'm at least having fun, and that's something I haven't been able to say for any Star Wars content that's been put out in quite a while. So I'm at least marginally happy with it.
I agree. I watched 3 episodes today, and I do have to say, again, and the problem with the show is a problem that all non-British streaming shows have. It's just a lot of filler. But I haven't had this much fun watching a Star Wars property since probably Rebels. It's got its problems, but I'm enjoying it. It's fun.
So
Yeah, you can at least tell the people that made this show actually like Star Wars, and that's something that I think we haven't felt for a while. So I'll give it props for that.
So I'm listen, I actually agree with everything you guys have said. I don't dislike this. As you said, Lauren, there was one episode that was absolutely terrible. It was total filler. It was side quest and immature. That said, I do have quibbles with this episode, and let me present the quibbles, and then you tell me if I'm wrong about those quibbles somehow, some way. All right. Quibble number 1. I think it's weird to go through a giant cloud planet, and on the other side of the clouds, somehow there's sunshine again. I don't know if they have some sort of fake sun that's doing that, but it's weird. And I don't think that's possible because during the nighttime, they look up from at Adden and see the clouds. So I don't get it. Anyway, I also thought there were some get out of jail free cards, like you said, that were they were silly. And if it's a kid's show, then I'm okay with that. But if it's a grown-up show, then I'm not okay with it because it's sloppy. The end, though, got really silly for me. And when you have the baddie go full baddie, and he goes baddie in his mind, and he's like he's gone Scrooge McDuck, and the droids around. I mean, I know that they're droids, but come on, not one droid looked at the other and said, "Getting a little weird here. He's making love to the tokens," or whatever they're called. I forget now. Or credits. He's making love with the credits. Weird he is. So those things I had some quibbles with, but overall I had fun with it. I thought this was fun, but I don't think it moves the needle. I will say, however, Lauren, you had talked in the past about how, and I thought you were right on this, and you still, I think, could be. We'll see. But that this could actually fortify the sequel trilogy. I don't know now. What do you think it's going to go there still?
Well, they're clearly not in the mall like I thought they were. And in that first episode, when you saw the camera pan up and look at the night sky, it looked really obvious to me that there were 3 black holes there. But that's clearly not what was shown in this episode. So I think that I was wrong, at least for the location. As to the stuff about being a resource planet for the construction of Starkiller Base, I'm less certain of that now, just because they seem to be certain about having an Old Republic mint there, and that they're expecting an Old Republic emissary. So I don't know what the reveal is going to be at this point. I think it's fair to say I was probably wrong about the Starkiller Base connection. I don't know where it's going to go, but I think that you're right to kind of refer to the supervisor as being the Wizard of Oz of the show, and I am curious to see what's that reveal going to be.
Now, I will tell you, maybe I shouldn't. People, if you don't want to hear any kind of spoiler about the next episode, just cover your ears. This will be as light a spoiler as you've ever heard. Okay. Everybody's safe here. Okay. We're all in our safe space. I have been told that the next episode is a little bit disappointing. So just be ready for that. And it's going to lean into the kiddie stuff. So I think it's going to be definitively a kid's show by the last episode. That said, go ahead.
I definitely think that this is a kid's show. It's a show geared to a younger Star Wars audience. It's not meant to be the thing that rescues Star Wars. I do think they may have made a miscalculation into thinking that kids are still watching Star Wars. And because of that, that's why it is pseudo nostalgia bait for the Gen X parents that are still watching it, like us. I think it's probably a show that didn't really have an audience, which is too bad, because I think it's a decent kids Star Wars show. It's fun and light, and it's made by somebody who actually cares about Star Wars. So that's nice.
Okay. Can anyone explain how it is that they live on a planet that's covered in sunshine, yet there's some sort of storm around the planet that doesn't let in the sun rays beams? Can anybody?
I think
is in the sequel trilogy, so they're tying in The Force Awakens.
I think if you're looking for that kind of realism, you're in the wrong franchise to
Okay,
start
I
with,
didn't know.
because it's It's space opera. You don't worry about that kind of stuff.
I thought maybe they had some sort of fake sun generator or something going on. Who knew? Okay, so Nolan, Jonas, give us your thoughts on the quality of the episode. And Jonas, I'd like to hear your thoughts specifically on if this is a kid's show and we've got the two moms issue. What does it say about Star Wars, Lucasfilm, and Disney? Nolan will give you the first shot with the at-bat.
All right, well, to me, this whole thing just seemed like a live-action cartoon. Like, I think it's just kind of... It has the spirit of kind of like one of those, like, 1980s kid shows in a lot of ways to me. Like, if the main villain decided to Scrooge McDuck into all that money he saw at the end of the episode, I wouldn't care. I just feel like there's a lot of really ridiculous things, I feel like, particularly with the kids, some of the ways the adults act around them, how the kids can kind of will their way into situations like the Rey Skywalker, but that was supposed to be taken more seriously. I feel like it's pretty tame on a lot of things, but it also doesn't hold back like a lot of modern kid shows, I feel like, do. Like, they'll talk about death. They'll have villains who are actually selfish villains. That's a nice change of pace here. And I feel like as a family show, I think it hits the nail on the head. If this was trying to be like as serious of a Star Wars venture as, say, sequel trilogy, the other stuff, or heck, even like the old expanded universe stuff, I would say it's kind of cheesy. I could take it about as seriously as I can Star Tours at the Walt Disney parks. But as a show itself, I think, the effects look pretty good. It's pretty charming. It doesn't pull its punches where it needs to. It doesn't need to. I'd say, I think this is a solid show. It probably cost more than it needed to, but I'm a little bit ashamed. I'm a little bit sad that I feel like they could have done a lot better with the marketing, but they're just so in their own heads with the Acolyte. I feel like this show kind of lost a chance to be a little cult classic. It's a bit of a shame to me.
Well, there's a couple other things I'd like to bring up about it too, and that is that Captain Silvo is obviously kind of modeled on Long John Silver from Treasure Island. Obviously, the plot isn't based on that at all, but his waffling between acting like a good guy and a bad guy and having some fondness for the kids, but also desperately greedy for the treasure, and is the guy a Jedi? That's kind of compelling, and they've pulled that off pretty well. Also, this is a show that is actually showing the kids' attachments to their parents and showing the importance of a family relationship. And I appreciate that. I'm glad that they've done that. So often these days, the parents get relegated to these complete idiot roles. And in a way, you could say that the parents, they were not paying attention to the kids the way that they maybe should have, but they cared about their kids. They weren't trying to let them get lost on this ship. It just happened. And sometimes when parents make mistakes, that's how it happens. You take your eyes off them for a little bit. Next thing you know, they built a ramp on your driveway and are launching their bicycle off it, So I like it. I think that's a good angle that the show has taken.
So thus far, it sounds like we've all enjoyed this. Kevin, Jonas, the problem is this is just coming out. Mac is sending this our way. Nielsen has updated their charts. And it turns out that, nope, Skeleton Crew's 2-episode premiere did not hit the charts whatsoever, not even in the original. This matches with what Luminate found, and that probably means that it's not going to chart unless it does so with the finale. And that seems to me to be a stretch. So somehow, Star Wars did not manage to get people to watch this. Your thoughts on the episode as well as why this is that it's not getting any viewership.
Sorry, I forget which name you said. You said 2 names there. I'm just going to go ahead and go for it on this one. This episode, okay, so I didn't watch the last 2 weeks of this show, and Pro and I talked about whether or not I was going to watch it, and thought it would be kind of funny for me to not watch it. But I will say something that I'm really getting tired of with the Disney Plus shows. This was not an episode of a television show. This was the next 20 minutes of a movie that is way too long. This was not formatted like an episode. There's just another bit of action. There wasn't anything about this particular episode that told a specific part of the story. The start and the end There's nothing to it specifically that means that it should be separated in this way. Maybe that's how a mini series should work. Maybe that's how a limited series should work. But this should have been a movie. And in fact, if it was a movie, I think it would actually do better as a movie in theaters than it would on Disney Plus. Looking at this, it is not a surprise to me that this does not do well. Why? Because it is the most un-Star Wars thing. It has nothing in it that makes you think it's Star Wars, except maybe a couple of musical cues here and there. I actually really liked when Jude Law's character got out the lightsaber because, oh, wait, yeah, sorry, he could be doing some Jedi stuff, but he's using it to threaten kids, and that's a little dark for a guy that's supposed to be maybe a good guy as well.
Hey, how come in an acolyte, when she got all mean and stuff, her lightsaber got all red and mean, but he gets to hold a blue one and it doesn't do anything? What gives here? I'm confused again.
Speaking of which, in the last 2 episodes, did they answer whether or not he's an actual Jedi?
I got quibbles here.
No, they did not.
No,
and I think that's still an important part. I'm going to take issue with you, Jonas. I think him threatening the kids with the lightsaber is good for the show. And I also think it's good because it used to be we weren't afraid to have semi-scary moments in Disney movies. Kids are smart. They know what to make of this stuff, and you're wanting the kids to look heroic. And when they're facing something like that, it gives you the courage maybe to do something like that in your own life if you've got a bully that you're facing up to. They have not revealed whether or not he's a Jedi. He seems to know an awful lot about them. He knows some of their platitudes. He's pulling off Jedi-like stuff, but we don't know what he is. And to me, that plays again into the Long John Silver kind of persona, and that's kind of why I like him. I was not excited about Jude Law being in a Star Wars show, but I think he's done a great job with this character. I've had a lot of fun watching him.
I want to tack on to what Lauren said too, because they've done a great job of giving the kids moments of growth and showcasing that they're, just by their natures, heroic in their own ways. And yeah, I think, kids like to be scared. If you go back and watch those old 80s cartoons, like in particular He-Man. I have started the habit of watching He-Man every morning with my 15-month-old. There are actual moments of legitimate peril, in those episodes. They're making no bones about it. If we mess this up, we're gonna die. And I was like, oh wow, I don't remember it being that serious when I was little. But I think kids kind of like that stuff because it's not super duper in your face. We're older, we interpret it, we understand the stakes. But for the kids, they're still just on an adventure, and they're also processing like, well, we know this guy kind of likes us, but we also know that he's really greedy. You're kind of watching him struggle, and they do a good job of showing you that he also is kind of struggling with his nature. He doesn't want to be this. He doesn't want to be this mean and SOB, but he is so greedy and so, I guess, hungry for whatever it is that he's after, that he can't control himself. So I don't know how this plays out. It's going to be interesting. And yeah, I do like the is he or isn't he drama that we've been watching with him.
I'll give you my take. I think he is a Jedi. I didn't at first. When the show first started, I was convinced he wasn't. He was just a con man. But I think he actually was a Padawan that went through Order 66, saw the whole Republic fall. He's been through all of this crap. He fell in with some pirates, probably got brought on as a youngling, and he's tried to run this crew. He's gotten backstabbed. He just wants something to go his way.
Yeah.
And my guess is, at the end of the show, there will be a situation where the kids are in peril, and he's going to have to decide, do I run with the money? Do I save the kids? If he's like Long John Silver, he's going to find a way to do both. He'll save the kids, he'll save some of the money, and he'll get away with the ship. And you'll have them wondering still, what kind of a guy is this guy? And the answer is, he's a greedy guy who wants to make out after all the crap that he's been through, but he still kind of likes the kids.
I'll do you one more. I think he's going to save the kids and the parents.
Sure, whatever. Yeah, but I think it's important that this is a character that needs to remain morally ambiguous. He's got a good side to him, but he's also still a greedy bastard. I think that's the way you play this character.
All right. Well, here's the way we can do this thing, guys. In the past, we've done the review scores. Instead, we don't have the finale yet. Let's review it this way. I'm going to go to each panelist. We'll start with Lauren. We'll work our way around to Jonas. Jonas wouldn't know anything about clocks, but we're going to go clockwise. Nolan will understand that. Nolan, you translate if you need to.
Oh, now you're trying to say that I'm the one who uses up a lot of time.
So we're going to go around, and
Looks
as
like
we do that,
Ernest goes to camp.
I'm going to bring up more reindeer, sir. I will pull more pictures up. So as we go around, here's the question. Here's how you review it this time. Do you want a season 2? Lauren?
Yeah, I think I actually would. If they end it well, I'd be open to seeing more of this, especially if we follow Captain Silvo. You know, he doesn't necessarily have to stay with these kids. They could have just these random seasons where he gets into hijinks and adventures, or he could cross their paths again. I don't think they're going to do that, but I wouldn't be against seeing a second season if they end this one properly.
Nolan?
I think that could be really cool to give this show another chance to get some viewership this time. I don't think it'll happen, but you know what? I'm thinking about starting up a change.org petition to get a season 2, so I'll get back to you on that one.
It's got more chance of coming true than some others I've seen. Kevin, do you want a season 2?
I will give you an emphatic yes. I would like to see.
Oh my gosh. Was this was not made by Lucasfilm. There's no way. We can't be saying these sorts of things. Folks, don't tell anybody I said this. I would watch a season 2, I think. Notwithstanding, I have not seen the end, so they could ruin it, right? You never know. Leslie Headland strolls into the finale. Look out. Jonas, do you want a season 2 or no?
Yeah, sure. Why not? I really don't have a problem with it. I would prefer they air them a little earlier in the day, but no big deal.
I'm sorry, that's the best Jonas critique I've ever heard. Put them earlier in the day. All right. Well, I think that is a 5 out of 5, although in some places a bit tepid. Lauren, let me give you the final thought on this one. Is it anywhere in the same league as Andor, which you have said you've enjoyed Andor? Is this anywhere approaching?
No, but they're two different things. They've got two different audiences and they're trying to do two different things. I think that good Star Wars is flexible enough that you can tell any kind of story in it that you want, as long as you respect the universe and its rules. So I wouldn't pit them against each other. I think that they have two different purposes.
All right. Well, folks, there you have it. We're not against Skeleton Crew. And I thought this was going to absolutely tank after I saw episode 4. I think many of us felt like, well, all the good stuff is gone now. Here we go back into typical Star Wars. But it's sort of redeemed itself a little bit. And as a kid's property, it's fine. The two moms thing is still weird, but, it is what it is. Marvin, I'd love to give you 2 hours to talk about Skeleton Crew, but you got 30 seconds. Go.
Okay. Yeah, I had to watch 3 episodes of this today because, like most of the world, I forgot it existed and didn't realize we were still doing this. It was fine. At first, I was like, why? I've only got 20 seconds. Yeah, it was fine. I liked it. Okay.
We really hope that you felt this video was satisfactual. We know we had an actual good time participating and communicating with each and every one of you out there listening. It is a great honor. It is a great pleasure, even a responsibility to do this on a daily basis. You give us the dream job we love doing, and for that we can never say thank you enough. There's only one small favor we ask beyond what has already been done, and that is, folks, consider it. That is clicking the like button. Share, subscribe, click it, stick it to those pesky algorithms. It's the notification bell. And drop a comment right on down below. Let us know your thoughts, because your thoughts do indeed matter, no matter what the mainstream media would otherwise say. Folks, as we say every single time we end these videos, because we mean it, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.